Feels like home.
Did you notice anything though?
Well, there was no music when that thing went up.
No theme song. Candace Bergen had a theme song.
Yeah, of course she would get one.
After 40 years, Henry Winkler finally reveals the untold story in his memoir. He opens up about the personal moments and deep bond that have defined his extraordinary friendship with Ron Howard. From their iconic time on Happy Days to their unwavering support for each other, Winkler's words offer fans a rare behind-the-scenes glimpse into their lasting connection. Stay tuned to discover what Henry had to say about the legendary director and how their friendship has stood strong through the years. Henry Winkler's youth and education. Henry Winkler was born on October 30, 1945, in Manhattan, New York, to parents Ilse Anna Marie, née Hadra, and businessman Harry Irving Winkler. His parents were German Jews who lived in Berlin during the rise of Nazi Germany. As tensions against Jews grew in the late 1930s, his father decided that it was time to leave Germany. In 1939, they left for the United States on a 6-week business trip. While his uncle Helmut was supposed to join them, he chose to delay his departure and tragically lost his life in the Holocaust. Upon arriving in the U.S., the Winklers settled in New York City, where Henry's father established a new version of his business, buying and selling wood. Despite their difficult past, the Winklers started fresh in New York, but Henry's early life wasn't easy. Growing up, he struggled with school, which was a big source of stress for him and his parents. He attended PS 87 on West 78th Street and later the McBurney School. While he was outgoing and had a knack for being the class comedian, his academic performance was less than stellar. His difficulties with schoolwork, especially subjects like geometry, caused constant tension at home. His parents, frustrated by his struggles, often called him dummer Hund, meaning dumb dog in German. This constant pressure took a toll on his self-esteem, and Winkler often felt like he had no confidence at all. However, Winkler always had a love for acting. Despite being grounded most of his high school years for poor grades, he managed to participate in a few theatrical productions. His love for theater gave him an outlet to express himself, but it also created a divide with his father, who hoped his son would take over the family business. Henry would joke with his father, asking, "Besides being chased by the Nazis, Dad, was there a bigger reason than that?" He had no interest in following in his father's footsteps, and instead, he pursued his passion for acting. After graduating from McBurney School in 1963, Henry faced another challenge. He had to repeat geometry for the 4th time. As a result, he didn't attend his graduation, and his diploma was sent to him in the mail. Despite his rocky start, Winkler applied to 28 colleges and was only accepted to 2. He chose to attend Emerson College in Boston, where he majored in theater and minored in child psychology. At Emerson, he got involved in the theater scene, even performing in the college production of Peer Gynt, where he played the title role. He struggled during his first couple of years at Emerson, but he eventually graduated in 1967. Emerson later awarded him an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters in 1978 in recognition of his career accomplishments. After college, Winkler pursued further training at the prestigious Yale School of Drama. He decided to audition in his senior year of college, despite his struggles with dyslexia, which went undiagnosed at the time. His audition did not go as planned. He forgot his Shakespearean monologue and had to improvise. However, his natural talent shone through, and he was accepted into Yale's MFA program in 1967. At Yale, Winkler performed in several plays and also helped launch the New Haven Free Theater with his classmates. This theater group gave him invaluable experience, and it was here that he began honing his craft. Winkler's time at Yale proved to be pivotal for his career. It gave him the tools he needed to succeed in the competitive world of acting. He graduated in 1970 with his MFA, one of only 11 actors out of 25 who remained in the program. Later on, in 1996, he returned to Yale as the senior class day speaker, where he shared his journey with a new generation of graduates. A legendary career. After completing his Master of Fine Arts, MFA, at Yale, Henry Winkler was one of only 3 students from his class of 11 to be invited to join the Yale Repertory Theater Company. This opportunity came in the summer of 1970 when he joined the company on June 30th. At the time, he was paid $173 per week, which was enough to get by as he performed in various productions during the 1970 to 1971 season. One of his notable performances was in a double feature of Bertolt Brecht's The Seven Deadly Sins and The Little Mahogany in 1971, and again in early 1972. His time at Yale's Repertory Theater marked an important foundation for his career, but things would soon take an unexpected turn. In the fall of 1971, Winkler was invited to join the cast of Moon Children, a play that was to open at the Arena Stage in Washington. Unfortunately, things did not go as planned. 3 weeks into rehearsals, the director, Alan Schneider, fired him. It turned out that Winkler had only been hired to temporarily fill in for an actor who wasn't available yet. The experience was a blow to Winkler, and he feared that this setback would end his acting career before it truly began. Determined not to give up, Winkler moved back to New York, where he began auditioning for all sorts of roles in plays, movies, and commercials. Through his work in commercials, Winkler was able to make a living while continuing to pursue his passion for acting. He even performed with the Manhattan Theater Club for free, in exchange for the experience. Winkler's first appearance on Broadway came in 1973 when he played the role of John in 42 Seconds from Broadway. Although the show didn't last, Winkler promised himself that one day he would return to Broadway and make it right. By the end of 1973, he had appeared in 2 independent films, The Lords of Flatbush and Crazy Joe. He also performed with an improv group called Off the Wall, New York. Despite these accomplishments, he still struggled with cold reading during auditions, a challenge that made him feel anxious and unsure. At the urging of his agent, Winkler decided in 1973 to try his luck in California. Although he initially resisted, thinking he was not a good fit for Hollywood, his agent convinced him to give it a shot. He had earned enough money through commercials to afford a month-long stay in Los Angeles. On September 18, 1973, he and his co-star from The Lords of Flatbush, Perry King, headed to California. Within 5 days, Winkler had gone through several auditions, and he was cast in a small role on The Mary Tyler Moore Show for an episode that aired in the 4th season. Just 2 weeks later, Winkler auditioned for a role in a new TV show called Happy Days. The character was Arthur Herbert Fonzarelli, better known as Fonzie. Although Winkler was a relative unknown and not the producer's first choice, he was invited back for a second audition, this time in costume. On the day of the second audition, Winkler made a strong impression by reading his lines, throwing the script in the air, and walking out of the room. On his birthday, he received an offer for the part, which he accepted on the condition that the character would be shown taking off his jacket to reveal his true self. Happy Days premiered in January 1974, and Winkler's character quickly became a fan favorite. Initially, Fonzie was a secondary character, serving as a foil for Richie Cunningham, played by Ron Howard. However, Winkler brought something unique to the role. He didn't follow the typical tough guy stereotypes by chewing gum or rolling a pack of cigarettes in his sleeve. Instead, he portrayed Fonzie as a cooler, more laid-back figure. Although the producers initially wanted him to comb his hair and follow the script, Winkler created a memorable moment when he pretended his hair was perfect, a move that became iconic. There was also a debate over Fonzie's wardrobe. ABC executives initially refused to let him wear a leather jacket, fearing it would make the character look like a criminal. After some back and forth, the compromise was made that Fonzie could wear the leather jacket, but only when riding his motorcycle. The only problem was that Winkler didn't know how to ride one. In fact, he nearly crashed the motorcycle the first time he tried it, and from then on, he never actually rode it on the show. As the second season of Happy Days progressed, Fonzie's popularity grew, leading to a shift in focus toward his character in many episodes. By the third season, his character had eclipsed Richie Cunningham's, with the storyline shifting focus to Fonzie. Winkler later recalled speaking with Ron Howard about the change. Howard, who had signed on as the show's star, reassured Winkler that his role was a good thing for the show and that he was fully supportive of him. In a 2018 interview, Winkler acknowledged that this shift in focus was both exciting and a little overwhelming. He went from being an unknown actor to becoming one of the biggest icons on television. Throughout the show's run, Winkler also appeared in films like Heroes, 1977, alongside Harrison Ford and Sally Field, and Night Shift, 1982, with Shelley Long and Michael Keaton. His work in Night Shift earned him a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. In addition to acting, Winkler served as executive producer for several projects, including the 1978 documentary Who Are the Dieboldts and Where Did They Get 19 Kids, which earned an Emmy nomination. He also directed episodes of Happy Days and its spin-off Joni Loves Chachi. Henry Winkler's time on Happy Days ended in 1984, but the conclusion of the show didn't mark the end of his career. It brought about a series of new challenges. After becoming a cultural icon as the lovable, leather-jacketed Fonz, Winkler found it hard to escape the shadow of his character. Typecast as the cool, confident Fonzie, many casting agents were hesitant to offer him new roles. In interviews, Winkler often shared how agents would describe him as a wonderful guy, really good actor, funny, but the catch was always, but he was the Fonz. This label made it difficult for him to land parts that would showcase his true acting range. Despite this setback, Winkler didn't give up. Rather than retreating from the spotlight, he stayed involved in the entertainment industry by branching out into other areas of work. He began to direct and produce a variety of projects, proving his talents were not limited to acting. Winkler's passion for storytelling and his experience in the business made him a sought-after producer and director in both television and film. In the late 1990s, Winkler started to find more acting opportunities that allowed him to showcase his versatility. He appeared in a wide range of projects, from horror films like Scream, 1996, to family-friendly films like Holes, 2003. These roles helped him reinvent his career and show the world that he was more than just a one-hit wonder from Happy Days. Over the years, Winkler has gone on to prove that he's a talented actor and creative force in Hollywood, with a career that spans decades and includes acting, directing, producing, and even writing children's books. Winkler's return to acting was a triumph. He also found success working with Adam Sandler, beginning with a cameo in Sandler's The Chinooka Song in 1994. This sparked a friendship that led to Winkler appearing in several Sandler films, including The Waterboy, 1998, and Click, 2006. Winkler's enduring career has shown his resilience and adaptability, proving that even after being typecast, an actor can find new paths to success. His memoir. In his autobiography Being Henry, Winkler opens by recalling his audition for the TV show Happy Days, which would go on to make him a cultural icon. The show ran for 11 seasons, and Winkler, along with his co-star Tom Bosley, appeared in all 255 episodes. While Happy Days is certainly one of the highlights of Winkler's career, it is by no means the only defining moment. Over nearly 6 decades in the entertainment industry, Winkler has built a career as an actor, director, producer, philanthropist, and even a children's book author. At the heart of Being, Henry is a man who has always had a passion for performance. Winkler writes that he can't remember a time when he didn't feel the intense need to perform. However, he also admits that much of his early success came from the fame of Happy Days, rather than his own talent. In fact, he describes himself as half-baked as an actor during that period, self-conscious and unsure of himself. Few performers are as honest and self-reflective as Winkler, and it's this transparency that makes his memoir so compelling. Throughout the book, Winkler is open about his insecurities and struggles. He talks about his tendency to talk too much when he's nervous or insecure, a habit he says only increases when he's feeling disconnected. He also reflects on the challenges in his personal life, particularly his relationships. Winkler humorously recounts his early, failed attempts at romance, but also makes sure to let his wife, Stacy, have a voice in the narrative. They've been married since 1978, and Winkler is candid about the difficulties they faced in their marriage, including issues of intimacy and communication that he didn't fully address until he began therapy in the last decade. Winkler and Stacy have 2 children together, and he helped raise a son from her first marriage. As of now, they have 6 grandchildren, and Winkler is clearly proud of his family. He speaks lovingly about them throughout the book, and it's clear that they are a significant part of his life. His ability to reflect on his personal challenges and relationships with such honesty is one of the many reasons Being Henry resonates with readers. After Happy Days ended, Winkler took a break from acting for 7 years. Rather than retreating from the public eye, he ventured into new territory. He started his own production company and began directing. He also became a sought-after voice actor, lending his talents to several animated projects. During this time, Winkler shifted his focus to children's literature, collaborating on 28 books in the Hank Zipser series. These books, about an elementary school student with dyslexia, were not only well received by young readers, but also became a successful TV series. Winkler's acting career experienced a resurgence in the 1990s and 2000s with notable roles in films like Scream, 1996, The Waterboy, 1998, and Royal Pains, 2009 to 2014. He became known for playing authority figures who lacked authority, a comedic trope that he mastered. Winkler also returned to the stage, performing in 2 Broadway productions, including a premiere by the legendary playwright Neil Simon. One of Winkler's most recent successes came with his role in HBO's Barry, where he played Gene Cousineau, an acting coach. His performance earned him a much-deserved Primetime Emmy Award, adding to the 2 Daytime Emmy Awards he had already received earlier in his career. For Winkler, this recognition was not just a validation of his talent, but also a reminder of how far he had come since his Happy Days days. It was a moment of reflection on his journey through the ups and downs of fame and the entertainment industry. Throughout the memoir, Winkler is thoughtful about the fame he achieved early in his career. While he acknowledges the many gifts that come with being a star, he is also mindful of the challenges and pressures of being in the public eye. He emphasizes that no one can fully understand their experiences at the moment. They must live through them to truly grasp their meaning. As Winkler puts it, you couldn't have known then what you know now, that only the process of living gets you there. You must do the work in order to eat the fruit of growing, of being. This philosophy is evident in every part of his life and career. Being Henry is not just a memoir for Happy Days fans, though it certainly offers an insider's view of the show and the iconic character of Fonzie. It's also for anyone who is curious about what life in show business is really like, told by a narrator who is open, transparent, and deeply reflective. One of the things he reflects on in the book is his long-standing friendship with Ron Howard. And it all began on the set of Happy Days, the start of a lifelong friendship. Henry often jokes that the very thing that made him struggle as a child may have been the same thing that helped him land one of the most iconic roles in television history. Winkler, who was diagnosed with dyslexia at a young age, faced challenges in reading and processing information. However, instead of seeing his learning disability as a setback, he turned it into an advantage by learning to improvise lines and bring his own unique style to the characters. In his memoir, Being Henry Winkler, Winkler reflects on his life and career with humor, humility, and raw honesty. He shares how his inability to read scripts the traditional way helped him shape the role of Fonzie. The character was originally meant to be a tough, few-words type of guy, confident and rough around the edges. In real life, Winkler was the complete opposite. He describes himself at the time as a short Jew from New York City with a unibrow and hair down to my shoulders, who was confident about next to nothing in his life. Despite all this, he landed the role of a lifetime, one that would define him for years to come. But Winkler's journey to becoming Fonzie wasn't without its challenges. While the character became an iconic part of pop culture, Winkler initially struggled with self-doubt. The actor admits that, at the time, he was still trying to find his place in the acting world. He wasn't sure of his own talent and had little confidence in himself. Yet, he soon learned that what worked on the set of Happy Days was his natural ability to make the character his own. His improvising when necessary and adding layers to the role made Fonzie stand out. Through the ups and downs of his career, one constant remained: his lasting friendship with his Happy Days co-star, Ron Howard. Their friendship off-screen mirrored the close bond they shared on-screen. Winkler credits Howard with teaching him some important life lessons. One of the most memorable moments came during the first season of the show. Henry was frustrated with his inability to remember his lines, began to punch the script. Howard, who was 10 years younger than Winkler at the time, took him aside and gently reminded him that the writers were doing their best and that throwing a tantrum wouldn't solve anything. This simple act of kindness left a lasting impression on Winkler, and the two formed a deep and meaningful friendship that continues to this day. In his memoir, Winkler reflects on how he learned from Howard's professionalism and calm demeanor. Howard had already built a solid foundation as a child actor on The Andy Griffith Show and was more grounded in his approach to acting. Winkler, unlike Howard, did not have the same level of early experience in Hollywood could make it clearer. Still, he respected Howard's wisdom and admired the way he handled his fame. Over time, Winkler's role as Fonzie grew in prominence. ABC noticed the surge in popularity surrounding his character and gave him more screen time and a pay raise. Winkler was uncertain about the changes, but Howard was supportive, reassuring him that the show's success was beneficial for both of them. Howard admitted that he sometimes felt jealous, but he never directed his frustration at Winkler. Instead, he recognized that Winkler's rise was part of the natural flow of the show, and he always appreciated Winkler's humility and teamwork. Winkler expressed gratitude for the opportunity to be part of the show, remaining humble despite his growing success. Beyond Happy Days, Winkler's career continued to evolve. After the show ended, he spent years exploring different aspects of the entertainment industry. He started a production company, directed films, and became a sought-after voice actor. He also found success as a children's book author, writing the Hank Zipser series, which focused on a young boy with dyslexia. The books became a favorite among young readers and were adapted into a television series. Winkler's acting career also found new life in later years, with notable roles in films like The Water Boy, Scream, and the hit TV series Royal Pains. His versatility and depth as an actor helped him transition from the role of Fonzie to more complex characters. He even returned to the stage, starring in Broadway productions, and won a Primetime Emmy Award for his role in Barry, solidifying his status as one of Hollywood's most enduring performers. Reunited. In the case of Henry Winkler and Ron Howard, their friendship has only grown stronger with time. The bond between the two has remained unbreakable since they first worked together on Happy Days in the 1970s. It's clear that their friendship is one of the highlights of their long careers. In fact, Winkler has been so close to Howard that he became the godfather to Howard's daughter, actress Bryce Dallas Howard. The Howards trusted Winkler so much that when their children were young, they even asked him to take care of them if anything ever happened to them. This level of trust and deep friendship speaks volumes about the connection these two men have built over the years. Even though Happy Days ended many years ago, Winkler and Howard's relationship has only continued to flourish. The two have shared countless personal moments together, both on and off screen, and their friendship has stood the test of time. Notably, Winkler and Howard, along with their wives and families, recently enjoyed a dinner together. This further proved that the bond they formed on the set of Happy Days has lasted far beyond their time working together on the show. Though it has been decades since they first became friends, both Howard and Winkler have continued to shine in their respective careers. Howard, who was already an established child actor when he joined Happy Days as Richie Cunningham, went on to achieve even greater success as a director. He won an Academy Award for Best Director for his work on the film A Beautiful Mind, which also won several other major awards. Howard also received numerous nominations for his direction of films like Apollo 13 and Frost/Nixon, showcasing his talent and growth in the film industry. His transition from acting to directing has been incredibly successful, and it's clear that Howard's career has flourished in ways that few could have predicted when he was first cast as Richie Cunningham. For Winkler, life after Happy Days took him on a journey of his own. He continued acting in a variety of roles, but it was his work as a producer and director that truly allowed him to carve out a new path. Winkler also found success as a voice actor, bringing characters to life in animated series and movies. One of his most notable roles was as the voice of the character of the Fonz in the animated Happy Days spin-off, as well as in various voice roles for children's programming. Beyond his acting, Winkler became known as a dedicated author. He wrote a popular series of children's books about a young boy named Hank Zipser, who, like Winkler himself, struggled with dyslexia. The books were a hit with young readers and later became a television series, allowing Winkler to share his personal experiences with a new generation. Despite their busy careers and the many years that have passed since Happy Days ended, Winkler and Howard have remained close friends. Their families have continued to stay in touch, and Winkler has often shared stories of the deep connection he shares with Howard. From acting together as young men on set to supporting each other through life's challenges, their friendship has only grown stronger. It's also worth noting that Winkler's involvement in Howard's life extends beyond their personal bond. Howard, who has always spoken highly of Winkler, has expressed his admiration for his friend's professionalism and talent. In return, Winkler has often praised Howard for his calm demeanor and wise outlook on life. The two men have served as each other's support system, and their friendship has been a shining example of how relationships formed on the set of a TV show can last a lifetime. Their story shows that true friendships can withstand the test of time, no matter where life takes you. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories and fun facts. Don't forget to drop a comment below to share your favorite Happy Days moment. See you next time.